I'm talking about drug testing. I'm talking about drug protocol. I'm talking about bulletproof, unbeatable.
Like, these are some bold motherfucking adjectives to make.
More specific detail will come, guys. Like I said,
Tell me it's bulletproof again, bro.
I'll admit, I've consumed things in the past, taken things in the past that have been on the water list that wouldn't be allowed. But that doesn't matter. What's done there is done, and it's insignificant.
Dude, what the fuck is this guy's logic? Like, have you not seen all the data that implies the lifelong advantage you get from performance-enhancing drugs? He's like, we want drug testing, we want bulletproof shit, but I've used stuff in the past, but it doesn't matter. Like, how many inaccurate statements can you make in one video?
What's up, guys? I'm Alex.
I'm Jason. We're the Table Monkeys, and this video is going to be about bulletproof drug testing.
And whether or not that's actually possible.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't really think it is, no. And we were going to do a video about this when they first talked about the drug testing.
Yeah, it seemed fishy.
Yeah, something smelled a little off. But then we were like, you know what? Benefit of the doubt. Let's wait. Let's let them explain exactly what they're going to do for the drug testing, and then
we can tear it apart.
Yeah, we can just tear it apart because bottom line is there is no bulletproof drug testing.
Yeah.
But Ryan, the other day, he put out a video called Unbeatable Drug Test, and he talked about it being bulletproof. He said it was bulletproof like at least 100 times.
Right, and I think if you say it 100 times, that means it's true.
Yeah, it's like some magic trick where all of a sudden it becomes reality.
Yeah.
But Derek from More Plates, More Dates, who we're huge fans of, he fired back a response video really quickly and basically tore that shit apart.
I think Ryan's got like 3 assholes.
Yeah, 3 new assholes now from Derek's fucking beating. But it was a really good response, and he broke things down really well. And we just kind of want to talk about his response, Ryan's video, what we think about the whole situation. Maybe explain some of the things that Derek was talking about, because he really likes to go off in the scientific jargon, and which is awesome. But we just want to maybe there was some lost in translation there, especially with Rob's response. It was clear that he might not have understood exactly what they were talking about or what Derek was talking about. So yeah, that's it. So first thing we'll talk about is the idea that it can't be bulletproof.
Yeah, and that's because of the hormone usage, right?
Yeah, and the main thing that Derek was talking about that we wanted to clarify, just to make I think if people understand this, they'll kind of get the whole thing a little bit better, is the idea of bioidentical hormones and then your biopassport, and why those two things are important. So bioidentical hormones are just the hormones that people mainly use for PED use. So the 3 that we want to like really talk about would be testosterone, insulin, and growth hormone.
Right.
And the point is that your body produces those 3 things naturally. So unless your numbers are way out of whack, like 2-3 times what they should be naturally, it's going to be hard for people to decide to look further into those things and see if they're actually your own growth hormone, your own insulin, or your own testosterone. And
that's why you need a bioidentical passport.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like a reference point to see if you're close to where you previously were, right? So a lot of sports test their athletes every year, so they have a good understanding of their blood levels, their hormone levels, and if one day it's way out of whack and 50% higher than it usually is, then that's a clear red flag, and then we can go look into it and see whether or not it's a bioidentical hormone or it's exogenous hormone.
Exactly. And so one of the things that Derek was talking about why you need that passport is because the reference range that people are going to use, let's just take testosterone for example, it's like 300 to 1,000, let's say, and let's say normally you're like 600 to 700. Well, if we test you every year and we know you're always between 600 and 700, if one day you're at 800, we can go, oh shit, what's going on? But if the first time we check you, you're at 800, and then the next time you're at 900, and you're just always around 800-900, we're not really going to think anything of it. So by having tests for a long period of time, we are able to see when things are out of whack, by meaning that there's much smaller of a window for athletes to kind of play with.
But obviously that's very expensive.
Yeah.
And with the budget that Ryan listed at $10,000, that's definitely not going to be a viable option. When Derek went over the list of testing protocols and how much that would cost, it came up to about $2,500 per athlete. So that's $5,000 for one test.
One round of testing.
One round of testing.
Yeah.
And so that's only 2 tests with $10,000. And That's not comprehensive.
No, that's definitely not bulletproof.
No.
So yeah, it's not comprehensive, and it's also due to the fact that they're the ones that are paying for it. So whether it's 2 tests or 3 tests, the point is, since they're paying for it, they're going to know how many tests, and more than likely they're going to know what test it is that they're going to have to be taking, which just allows them to figure their ways around it, right? And it really kind of comes to what's the point if it's just between these 2 guys? Does it actually improve the community in any way, or is it just some way of them trying to signal with optics that they're somehow natty, you know?
Which is not true, because Ryan in his video stated that he's not natural.
He says it right in his video.
He's taken substances that are on the WADA ban list.
Yeah.
He thinks it's irrelevant, but anyone who knows anything about steroids, even the most minimal amount of knowledge, knows that once you take steroids, you are forever enhanced.
Yeah.
You can never claim natural ever again.
Unfortunately, that's the fact of the matter.
The benefits you gain from steroids don't just go away once you stop taking them.
No, they may diminish. You may not be able to maintain them. You may have negative side effects. You may not do it properly. But the point is that they do have a lasting effect. And if you do it properly, you can definitely maintain and continue to add upon those effects, you know? So like one method that a lot of powerlifters will do is you get to, let's say you get to here naturally, and then you go on cycle and you get up to here, and then you come off cycle and you start to catch yourself here and gain again, and then you spend about a year and you try to gain as much as you can, get back as close as you can to where you were on cycle. And let's say this is where you were on cycle, this is where you've now gotten back to naturally. Well, start another cycle and now you're up here, and you're able to just add that year on year, called blasting cruise, and it works. A lot of people do it.
So for all we know, Ryan could be taking steroids now, and then as soon as the match is announced and the testing date is planned, he'll stop taking and carry those lasting benefits that he's gotten from taking steroids,
which are irrelevant,
and take them into the match. Whether or not he decides to, try and cheat the test and take steroids and just not get caught, that doesn't matter. It's still going to be in his system enough to affect the outcome of the match.
The point of the matter, and we're not saying that he's going to try to cheat, we're not calling him a liar or anything. We're just trying to make the point that it doesn't really matter, because it's just between you and Rob and one match. It's not really having an impact on the community, until this can affect an entire league where every competitor in the league is being randomly tested throughout the year without their knowledge. There's no way to have a natural league. Everybody's like, there's always going to be a way to get around the tests,
Yeah. And as far as Ryan's point about sponsorships and whether or not steroids could hurt the sport, I just don't think that's true. I mean, steroids are a very accepted part of the strength world, powerlifting, bodybuilding, strongman, just the fitness world in general.
Yeah.
And they don't have any problem getting sponsorships. They may not be transparent about what they're taking, but it's kind of it's a well-known fact that all the guys at the top are taking steroids.
Yeah.
And it's well known in the arm wrestling world that the guys are taking steroids.
And as much as we argue that this is a combat sport in which strength is the number one factor, the truth of the matter is it's basically a strength sport. It's like 51%, 49%, And as it is a strength sport, it's just got to be kind of accepted as part of the very, very top end of the strength sport. It doesn't mean that you need to use steroids to enjoy the sport or partake in the sport or even be good at the sport. But if you want to be the number one super heavyweight in the world, it's probably going to be part of the equation, right? And again, as far as combat sports go, like why is it important to have testing and USADA and that kind of stuff in the UFC and boxing and those kind of things, is because you can actually inflict like long-term like physical brain damage, organ damage, all that shit to your opponent just by being like way too strong. And in arm wrestling, you're putting yourself out there. It's no different than in a strength sport where you're just putting your own body on the line. You're not like the increase in strength that you're giving yourself chemically, it isn't risking somebody else's health.
Yeah.
And that's where obviously we don't think that it's a good idea, or where there should be some control for it.
Yeah. The bottom line is, we just want to see people pull.
It's spews for views, you know. People want to see the freakiest of the freak. They want to see the strongest of the strong.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why Levon and Dennis are as popular as they are, and it's not because people are confused at whether or not they might be on something. Like, it's pretty fucking clear, right? So it's obviously not a deterrent. And like Alex said, all the other strength sports and the fitness world in general, like bodybuilding, there's tons of sponsorships through all of that stuff. So the idea of steroids won't be a deterrent. And again, this doesn't mean that we don't think that testing is a good idea, but the point is that until there's enough money in the sport, it's just unrealistic for it to actually have an impact. Because right now, like, just you guys testing something, it's all it really is a virtue signal to try to claim that you're some level of natty when you're clearly not, and it's not having a positive impact on the sport in our opinion.
We just want to see you guys pull. We don't give a shit whether you're taking steroids or not.
Yeah, and if it's for 50 grand, great. If it's for 10 grand, great. Bottom line is that what we've noticed about this community is that people just want to see people pull. Like, they just want to see the arm wrestling. They like, and if there's more behind it, if there's more hype, more drama, more whatever, it does make it more exciting. But in the end, they just want to see people pull. You know, Devin pulling fucking Michael in the garage is like one of the biggest videos of the year, because we just want to see people pull. So enough of the bullshit with Bulletproof this or whatever. Let's just get down to making the match happen. And as far as transparency goes, like, the only way to be transparent is to go 100%, I think, right? So you said you're on something. Fucking, what do you take, bro?
Yeah, I want to know.
How'd you make it grow? The head. It's like
I
this
want
big
44%, please.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me.
Like the video, subscribe,
Leave feedback in the comments.
and we'll see you next time. Monkeys out.